amazing Australians and the story of their lives. You're tuned to Lots to Chat About with Rosemary Peterswald.
Hello and welcome, listeners. Today I have someone from our very own Reading Radio as my guest. Mina Silvestre is not only an on-air host here at Reading Radio, but she is also a board member. She is a strategic marketeer, storyteller at heart, and shapes narratives that connect people, spark ideas, and inspires action. She helps business leaders and organisations translate complex ideas into messages that resonate and drive success. So today, Mina is going to give us some great ideas on how we can use social media, AI, and other forms of online communication work for us. Welcome, Mina.
Thank you, Rosemary. It's a total pleasure to be here.
Absolutely lovely to have you. Now, Mina, I believe, you come from an Italian migrant family. You were telling me that your parents actually came out from Italy, and you grew up in Sydney. Is that right?
Yes, I did. As a child, I grew up in Sydney and was surrounded by a very strong Italian community.
Lovely. What part of Italy did your parents come from?
They'd be classified as south.
Right.
There's a big difference between the north and south in Italy. So they come from two small towns, one from the sea and one up in the mountains.
Oh, how lovely. It's a wonderful country. I've been lucky
sure
enough
is.
to spend quite a bit of time there. Now, your career has spanned many years in marketing and communications with large IT organisations. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Actually, my career started in government and I was fresh out of university. There was the recession, so I took a job that I could take. And after a few years in government, I really wanted to try and move towards my aspiration, which was to be in PR.
Right.
And so I shifted to a PR agency that was literally up the road from where I was working.
Yes.
And they offered me a role in IT. And I hate to say it, but IT was just newish back then. And it was something that I wasn't really interested in. IT felt very geeky to me at the time.
Right.
And I certainly don't have a technical background whatsoever. But I took it on as experience,
Yes.
and from there on in, I kept moving from agency, then I moved into corporate land where I worked for large IT organisations throughout my career. So I've been fortunate enough to work with some big IT companies.
Oh, how wonderful. And how did you get involved now with 4RPH Reading Radio?
Well, Reading Radio really happened. It was a bit of a crossroads in my life, in my career. I had a job redundancy.
Yes.
And that causes you to take some stock. Where are you at? Where do you want to go? And I decided that would be my year of yes to new opportunities. That was my internal motto, if you
Yes.
like. And I started to do some small, low-risk experiments, and I wanted to find things that really invigorated me. And so I tried painting, podcasting, writing. I did speaking and other
Right.
things. And during that process, it was a bit of a revelation that I actually realised that I'd been crafting speeches and speaking points and keynotes for other people who delivered them as if
Right.
they were their own words.
Yes.
And I realised now I wanted to use and nurture my voice. So as luck would have it, I saw a call for volunteers for Reading Radio online. It was like it was meant to be.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
And I'd wanted to do community radio
Yes.
at university many years, but life just got in the way. And, finding Reading Radio at that point in my life felt like a second chance, and I got an interview and I never looked back, and that was like 2 years ago already.
Oh, how lovely. So what does it mean to you? I mean, what does sort of being involved with radio sort of mean to you?
It's really about purpose.
Yes.
It's about me finding purpose, but also putting purpose into action.
Right.
I'd done some community work in the past, but they were ad hoc things like McDonald's, Ronald McDonald House, and
Yes.
servicing, providing meals and cooking meals for Ronald McDonald House, among other things. But they were just here and there.
Right.
So this really gave me the opportunity to figure out what is my purpose and how can I use that purpose to enable other people. And so Reading Radio was a combination of being able to learn new skills,
Yes.
meet passionate, wonderful people who share the same interests and the same motivations, and to give back, essentially.
Terrific. And Mina, I might add, is wonderful with doing our social media. As Paul would know, you're there, Paul.
I am, yes.
Yes, and so it's made a big difference, which is terrific. But we'll go into that a little bit more. But tell us, how do you think sort of social media supports a community station like ours?
Well, social media is incredibly important for community radio stations like Reading Radio. It helps us to really punch above our weight.
Yes.
We're small, and we need to get our message out there. And it allows us to punch above our weight, especially when it comes to reaching our audience and the people who need us.
Right.
And if you think about community radio in Australia, it reaches a huge audience. So in my research, I found out that there's 4.7 million Australians listening every week to community radio,
right.
and that there's about 500,000 that rely on community radio alone.
Yes.
Here at Reading Radio, we broadcast to about 80,000 people. And it's wonderful because community radio really creates these trusted spaces for people,
yes.
and it also helps the underserved
right.
groups of society, things like people who may have language challenges. There's people who have religion, ethnicity, sexuality, disability, or other issues. So community radio is great for that.
But can I also interrupt?
Yeah.
As I was telling Mina before, because I started reading on Reading Radio about 25 years ago, the fishermen even like listening to us because they're out, out in the sea, and quite often they haven't got access to newspapers and that. So it's amazing what sort of listeners we get, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it drives community, and it drives something that's akin to companionship, I think. And I think also because we're so small here at
yes.
Reading Radio, relatively speaking, for a non-for-profit, we don't have those large marketing budgets where we can go out and reach and engage
yes.
people. But social media gives you that opportunity to reach those people, even if you don't have a budget. So that's the role that social media plays. And
yes.
it does that in a few ways. It helps us to be able to find people. So these are people who listen to us on the radio, people like listeners, volunteers, carers, family
yes.
supporters, who know us, but they can connect with us on social media, and also those people who don't. And
right.
we can start having the two-way conversations with them through social media. And social media helps us to keep people informed. It's been so valuable. Things like the ex-tropical cyclone Alfred.
Yes,
we're able
yes.
to get information out to people so quickly when
exactly.
we need to.
Yes.
And as well as regular updates like our programs or broadcasts
yes.
or volunteer updates. And like I was saying, it helps you to build connection and trust with the community. There's a lot of misinformation out
yes.
there. So it allows us to do that by sharing our stories, photos and messages, the real people behind Reading Radio.
Which is very, very important, like Paul in there. So, Paul, now tell me, you've been with Reading Radio for many, many years. Did you happen to listen to it and all that before? Or?
I did listen in 1984-ish.
Right.
I had some friends who their parents were totally blind.
Yes.
And they had Reading Radio on when we were on 1620
right.
frequency. So I had... Before I started here, I knew about the station. I had listened.
Yes.
Back when Max Long was manager. Some of the older listeners around will know Max Long.
Right.
And then I took a break from it for a little while, did uni and all that sort of stuff, and then started here in 99. So, yeah.
And you've been here ever since?
And I have, yes.
Much to our gratitude, which is great, behind the microphone in there. Now, Mina, tell me... a little bit now, we'll go into sort of how the media works for an individual, and then we'll probably go into an organisation and whatever. But just tell me for an individual there. For instance, I find that I've got a lot of relations all around the world and a lot of grandchildren and all that sort of thing. I love it for that because I can keep in touch. But, normal individual, how can they really make it work for them?
Look, social media is so accessible today for individuals. It's free, and it is something that you can actually go in and start to play with.
Yes.
And beyond just sharing with families, there are things that you can do as an individual if you have, say, if you're a solo entrepreneur or if you're an organisation. I think they work very much the same way, because if you take a few steps to figure out what you're trying to achieve from your social media, if you're really trying to build your brand, so people know who you are and what you stand for, you're building trust, or you're driving sales, or you're looking for loyalty, or like us, you're looking to build a community.
Yes.
You can approach social media with that lens, and then you know what type of content that you can create.
Right.
And as an individual or as an organisation, what I'd suggest is to pick a social media platform that your audience uses. So,
like, if I would imagine TikTok is for the young, and then there's Instagram.
That's exactly right.
And then Facebook is for oldies. Well, not oldies, but people that have been around for a little while. And that because certainly the young ones don't use Facebook anymore, do they?
Yeah. Well,
not much.
Facebook is, they say, around 30 to 50-year-olds.
Yes.
That is what it is. And it's got the broadest reach, and it's good for community, and it's good for conversations.
Yes.
Instagram is highly visual.
Photographs, isn't it?
Yeah, and videos.
Right.
It's for discovery. It's great for business to consumer selling and lifestyle brands. TikTok, as you say, 18 to 34. So they're really about trends and selling products and building communities, and it's really based on entertainment and creativity. So you'll get a lot of videos, hype videos, trending videos. LinkedIn is another one.
Oh, yes.
LinkedIn is really about creating networks and also networks with other professionals, and also creating authority in a professional capability. And what I mean by that is that you can really position what you're selling or what your role is, what expertise you have by writing in LinkedIn. Then you've got YouTube, which is all about short and long form videos, and there's Pinterest as well. Yeah. Pinterest is for 25 to 34-year-old women roughly, and it's really for creative businesses and driving traffic to their pages. So
there's many forms.
There's many forms of them. So even if you were to do a simple Google search, where are this group of people that I want to, approach? You will get a pretty good response from Google AI, who will give you a starting point even. Or you could check with what are your competitors doing, or what are people similar to you? Where are they?
Right.
Because you can see how many followers they have, if they're attracting followers. Yeah.
LinkedIn is very important. I'm going through this, as I said before. I've got 5 grandchildren, and fortunately they're all employed. Very, industrially, I should say. But I know how important it is for them to have a good LinkedIn site, particularly when they were looking for jobs, because quite often the employer goes there. But just to diverse a little bit, I'd also realised that nowadays, when you send an application off for a job, one of the most disheartening things is, for the young people particularly, you never hear back. Never. I mean, in the old days, I shouldn't say in the old days, but it was in the old days, you'd get a letter saying, thank you for your application, we're considering. But I was told the other day that most of the applications now go straight to AI, and AI has to make a decision as to whether it goes on to the next spot or the next spot. Is that true?
That is exactly true. So it's pretty tough in the market, and the sentiment, is that AI is here to stay. It's supposed to make it easier for organisations to sift through the resumes that they get. But having said that, you need to be, as someone who's looking for a job, understand the key terms that you need to have in your resume. With AI coming around, there is no putting your head in the sand anymore.
Right.
But having said that, also with LinkedIn and resumes, sending resumes off through AI, that's great. That's one way to try and get a job. But what you'll find, even with technology, that relationships are key.
Yes.
If you don't build your relationships as you grow in your workplace, then it becomes trickier. Then you are relying on AI to pick you out of hundreds or thousands of resumes. Yeah. But if you're building up your networks, then you're in a better position to find a job that may not even be promoted online. So that's the better way to do it, in my opinion. So you'll see, even in social media, you'll see it's all about building relationships, telling being able to tell
Yes.
good stories, all the human aspects
Right.
are becoming more highly valued.
Oh, right. And then, of course, there's places like Seek,
That's
and
right.
whatever, if you're looking for a job that that you can go on there. But we'll come back to that a little bit later. Now, you're listening to Lots to Chat About. I'm Rosemary Peterswald, and my guest today is Mina Silvestre, who is our social media guru, presenter, and so much more. So we'll just talk a little bit now. I mean, we are all very overcome with AI. Well, I certainly am. I mean, I'm at the stage now because I do belong, I do have an Instagram account because we produce books, etc. But I've never, I look at videos or the feeds that come on there, 9 out of 10 times I just shake my head and say, well, that's not even real. That's just AI. I mean, has it taken over everything?
AI is really moving at such a rapid pace, and I try to follow it as best as I can to see where it's heading. It's evolving quickly, and it can feel unsettling when you see it moving at that pace. And it's going to change a lot of things. As we were talking about jobs, it's already changing jobs. It's going to change the way we work. And maybe jobs will disappear. And there's probably not a maybe to that. Jobs will disappear. But AI is being used across the world. There are 800 million people who now use ChatGPT alone.
Right.
So the adoption is great, at least at ChatGPT, but there's so much more to AI. And AI is good at a few practical things right now, things like basic emails, posts, text for posts, documents. It can summarise your meeting notes. So if you're in a meeting, it summarises them. It can do research for you. Creates images and videos and translations and transcripts. And I guess the benefit of it is it allows you to do so much more with fewer resources. So that's the benefit of AI. But what AI can't do, which is what I was saying before, is it can't replace those human skills that we have. So we can't undervalue those human skills. They're going to really be the things that make you stand out going into 2026. So the sort of things are like it can't understand emotions or relationships yet, or ethics, and it doesn't understand tone, it doesn't understand context. So, which are things that humans can do. That's why human judgment, empathy, and original storytelling matters more than ever. So that's what AI will do. And I guess you were saying, how do you get on top of all of this?
Well, I know because I mean, I was saying to you before, I write novels and I'm fortunate to have gone through HarperCollins and whatever, but I think I get 5 emails a day, 4 or 5 emails a day, that tell me that my book is absolutely wonderful. They can tell me the exact plot in the book. They can talk about the characters in the book. And I know very well that it's because they want to get my business to do some marketing. But where do they get it all? And does somebody just summarise the book? I mean, the first one had me really fooled. I thought, oh, gosh, wow, here I go. I'm going to be a worldwide seller, really. Then somebody said to me, I get about 10 of those a day. It's extraordinary.
It is extraordinary. That's probably a ChatGPT exercise where they just put the website in and they ask it to come up with a letter based on a web page that you have.
But they're very convincing.
They are totally convincing. And look, I think if you want to leverage AI to the max to help you out, it's about helping you improve your speed and your productivity and what you do. But it won't replace the human side. Like you could do an email, but it's so easy to tell that it's been generated by AI. It's the human touch that is still going to make a difference. So yes, by all means, go get AI to do an email for you. But if you don't put your own tone on it, put your own expressions into it, then it's really all for naught.
But you've also got to be very careful, haven't you, in this day and age, that you don't put any untoward things on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok and whatever, because no longer can you wipe them. They're there for life, aren't they?
Yes, they are.
Particularly with AI, because I know that there's quite a bit about me sort of on the internet, because I had my own business in Hobart, etc. But just out of curiosity, somebody said, type your name in. I typed my name in. It's the most extraordinary thing. I mean, it just described from the moment I was born, virtually.
That's exactly right.
Right up until now. But fortunately, I haven't, criticised anybody or threatened to kill anybody. But if you did, I mean, they're there forever, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess the shift has been that in the past, if I looked up Rosemary Peterswald, I'd have a choice of sites that may have written about you.
Yeah.
It might have been Amazon, it might have been your bio, from your own page, and I'd just go and choose one or two of those. And in my head, I'd know who you were a little bit. But now what AI does is amalgamate all of that and put together the content from several sources and writes a narrative or writes a summary for you. So that's how it works. It takes it from various sources and, you can tell it where to go and find things for you. I can go and tell it to find research to support my argument, and it'll go in and find it from all different places when it would have taken me probably a lot longer to do that. But with AI, as you said, you have to verify it because...
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you do even with Wikipedia, don't you? A lot too.
You have to verify it because sometimes ChatGPT, the way that it's been trained, it likes to do some furphies and, not all the facts are facts.
Exactly.
So you do need to be onto it and check everything.
Absolutely. Now, just to go on to another topic there, we've now got, of course, in Australia, the ban for those that are under 16. And I look at the English Telegraph and whatever, and they're obviously looking at doing that in England. Is it working? I mean, or are there ways around it? And, in today's paper, I think there was something saying that there is easy ways around it. So kids are still getting on there. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. So just to recap, it came out on the 10th of December.
Yeah.
So the social media ban for under 16s, and it's been such a big conversation since, and understandably. And, all the platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and YouTube and Facebook, they have had to, big tech has had to take the majority of the responsibility to make it happen.
Right.
And they've had to take steps to make sure that under 16s can't access it, or they've got a $50 million fine. And the government reported that Meta alone blocked nearly 550,000 accounts in the first few days.
Right.
And in Australia, this is a bold first new step. And we're the first one globally who has been doing this. But there are other countries that are observing us and watching us. And they're moving in similar directions like Denmark and Norway. They're considering under 15 ban. France
and
yesterday.
England, yes.
Yeah. France are requiring parental consent, and only yesterday they voted to ban under 15s.
Right.
Malaysia is planning it.
Yes.
And as you say, the UK and the US are monitoring it closely now. And the argument has been that this has been impacting the well-being of children.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
And I think it's justified because there's research I've found that has gone back to 2019 that identifies the kind of impact that it's had on children. It risks, poor mental health because if you have just 3 hours of daily use, it doubles the risk of poor mental health, including depression and anxiety. And there's huge harms in terms of developmental disruptions like brain development and emotional regulation and impulse control. And, they've got high exposure to violent and graphic and inappropriate content. So I think it's justified. Is it going to be the silver bullet that we need? My opinion is that it probably isn't. You're requiring tech who can't 100% guarantee that they can get all children off social media.
And there are ways around it.
There are ways around it. VPNs, they're using other people's photos and images.
Was it like the old days going into the pub, wasn't it? You grabbed somebody else's ID club.
Yes, no, not that I ever did that. So it is a bold move, but personally I think that it's not a silver bullet. Tech just can't shut down all teens. And I think it's going
But it's a start.
It's a start. It's a bold new start.
Yeah.
And I think the progress that we're going to see is going to be through a combination of education and support for teenagers and parents, because they're having to manage both the online and the offline worlds. And teenagers really see that social media is an extension of their current world. It's not separate, it's an extension of it. So they really do need that support around that. As well as the platform regulation. So, and I think one other thing is too that we need to help children rebuild offline spaces. How do they get into the world?
Yep.
How do they have that social interaction with the world?
Because they're very lonely, a lot of them. They're just there on their iPads or iPhones or whatever, but ultimately they're lonely. They're not out playing with other children and whatever. But just time is starting to run out, but just go on to the next thing. How does somebody who decides now, I want to start an Instagram account or I want to start a Facebook account or whatever, how do people go about getting followers? Because that's often a question, isn't it? Because, you do a lot of work and you get all your beautiful photos up there and whatever, and you get one like or something, or somebody said, there's obviously no real sort of total answer to it, but is there any sort of help you can give people?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I think when you start and you start becoming familiar with the tool, so with platform Facebook or Instagram, I think there's a few things that you can do. I think you've got to have really authentic storytelling.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean not just saying, for instance, when I do a post for Reading Radio, I'll just never say Reading Radio has great volunteers, you know.
Yep.
I'll talk about things like Sam felt he lacked purpose going to and from his mundane job. He discovered a volunteer spot at Reading Radio.
Yeah.
And now he's found his tribe and he's learned new skills.
The human thing, isn't it?
It's the human. It's mirroring who we are, talking about who we are, what challenge have we overcome, and where am I going, and what's the benefit that I'm going. So having that modern storytelling is great. Understanding who your audience is, so understand what the interests are. And you can go on Google and find out a little bit about your audience from that perspective. And I think you also can look at keywords.
Yes.
You know, when you go into Google and you might type in something and Google will do a scroll down of, social media is delivering, and they might say poor health.
Yes.
Then you know that poor health might be a keyword that you can use. Keywords are things that you search for in Google.
Trigger, yeah. Absolutely.
And now people are doing keywords in social media.
Yeah.
So if you drop keywords into social media, people can find you faster.
Yes. Oh, that's
that's another thing you can do. And be overt, say, follow us.
Yes, do it. Yeah,
Yes.
Don't be afraid to ask. Yep, absolutely. Now, to get in touch with Mina, you can contact Reading Radio for RPH here in Brisbane, and we will put you in touch. Is that probably the best way, is it, Mina?
Yes, or follow us on our socials.
Yes, follow, absolutely. Follow us on Instagram and on Facebook.
That's right.
Reading Radio for RPH. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. It's been interesting, Paul, hasn't it?
Certainly has.
Absolutely. So thank you, Paul, for producing the program. Thank you, Mina.
Thank you very much. It's been lovely.
For being my guest. And this program has been produced in the studios of 4RPH Reading Radio Brisbane for syndication around Australia, and will be available on my YouTube channel, Lots to Chat About, with Rosemary Peterswald. But again, thank you, Mina Silvestre and Paul. Thank you.
Great friends and great chats. That was another Lots to Chat About with Rosemary Peterswald. Stay tuned next week for another amazing chat.